Classy, sophisticated, and mature. These are just a few words that help best describe one of the newest additions to the Fragrance du Bois lineup. I've been test driving this for a little while now, and my test drive's over. London Spice, suitably named? Or should it just be called London? Stay tuned to find out. Cue that intro. What is going on, my beautiful fragrance family? I hope each and every one of you are doing fantastic today. Welcome back to My2Scents. My name is Brian, and this is the channel all about helping boost your confidence through the art of fragrance and helping you become a lasting scent memory. So Fragrance du Bois has been on a roll. You know, in 2021, they released Producer Michael, Cavort, Secret Tryst, London Spice, Solstice, and all these new fragrances that they're releasing, they don't contain oud, which is weird, I know. But so far, I've been enjoying every single one of their new releases. Some a little bit more than others, hence why I haven't picked up all of the new ones. But Secret Tryst, fantastic. If you haven't seen my review of that, then I'll leave it at the end screen so you guys can go check that out. Producer Michael, that's my number one niche pickup of 2021. Cavort leans a little too feminine for me. I know, I don't see, sex in fragrances, but it is a little feminine on my skin. It happens. Solstice is good, probably gonna be the next one I pick up, but when I had my sample of London Spice, I knew I had to have it. But why? Well, before we get into my review, let me know, have you tried London Spice or have you tried any of the new Fragrance du Bois lineup? What do you think? What are your thoughts? You know what to do. But what's London Spice all about? Well, let's find out in today's Whiffs and Sniffs. All right, we'll do a quick box presentation. There isn't anything like super fancy or anything really new with the box presentation, except it looks like this. It says London Spice on the front. It has a sleeve. And then your normal Fragrance du Bois box. And just like every Fragrance du Bois, you get a box within a box, and it's the normal box. Nice satin lining inside, but that's the box. All right, I like these new bottles. You got London Spice on the front with the British flag. They have these nice new beveled edges, but the rest of the bottle's pretty much the same. I'll leave the notes right up here for you, and let's get whiffing and sniffing. Great atomizer per usual with all Fragrance du Bois. So London Spice is actually, I guess you could call it a flanker. So Fragrance du Bois has done London Oud, which I have sampled. I don't have my decant anymore because I used it all up. I just had a little 2 ml, sample. And London Oud is a fantastic fragrance. London Spice is basically London Oud without oud. But the one thing I do remember about London Oud is that London Oud was actually a little bit spicier than London Spice. So this starts out with a bright blast of citrus and lavender up top, but lots of citrus, lots of zesty lemon. You get a little bit of bergamot in there as well, and spearmint, a ton of spearmint. And this is a nice, fresh, kind of sharp, minty spearmint. It's got some green facets to it, adds a little bit of a creaminess to it, and it blends really well with that lavender. And when I say lavender, I'm talking like buttloads, copious amounts of lavender. What I will say though, being called London Spice, the opening has a fresh spiciness to it. And that's due to the spearmint that's in it. Now there's not just lavender in this. You're also getting some supporting florals. I believe there's some jasmine, maybe a little hint of rose in there, but it's really the lavender. Lots of lavender. And I really enjoy lavender. Now this is a really nice opulent lavender. This isn't, your synthetic kind of, designer lavender. No, this is fresh. It's invigorating. It's creamy. It's beautiful. Adds a nice underlying sweetness to it. And that mixed in with the citrus right up top and that spearmint creates a very sophisticated, dapper, yet mature opening. But the entirety of this fragrance, I would say, leans a little bit more mature. You have to enjoy classic style fragrances. Now this does have a nice modern touch to it. Now the whole opening of this fragrance does remind me of other fragrances. If you have Eau Sauvage, if you have any type of fougere, then this is probably going to remind you, at least right up top, of a lot of different fougeres. The one thing that kind of sets it apart is the spearmint. And I really like the spearmint in this. And you're gonna hear me talk about that spearmint quite a bit because on my skin, the spearmint sticks around for quite a while.
Like quite a while.
Now being called London Spice, of course you are gonna get some spices in this. Nutmeg, cardamom. I also detect a touch of clove in there and possibly a little bit of coumarin. And that's actually adding a nice sweet spiciness alongside of that cardamom. But the spiciness of the cardamom, it's kind of overshadowed with a nice green patchouli. And the patchouli in this it adds a little bit of like a woody characteristic, like a green woody characteristic, like a fresh woodiness. There's also a nice, like, watery quality to this. Almost a little salinity to it. There are some marine notes in here. I wouldn't call this aquatic. I would just say that it has the perfect amount of H2O in it to create this really beautiful and very luxurious shaving soap. Because that's what it really reminds me of, is walking into a barber shop and smelling all the smells. You know, like the nice shaving soap that's wafting through the air. That's exactly what this smells like, with a touch of spiciness, maybe a little bit of like bay rum aftershave hanging out in the background. This doesn't smell like bay rum, but what I'm saying is you're getting, subtle nuances of spices flowing throughout the background. I also pick up a nice leather, and the leather comes further into it as it starts drying down. And the leather in it reminds me of a nice leather chair that you would sit at the barber shop. Just enough to balance out the rest of the notes, the patchouli, the woods, the lavender, and that spearmint. It almost adds a little bit of creaminess to that spearmint. So now that we're further into the composition, where's that spearmint? Well, it's still there, I promise. The spearmint, like I said, sticks around, but I like it. It keeps the creaminess going. It blends really well with that lavender to just continue this freshness. This is a very fresh fragrance, though that leather adds a little bit of depth, a little bit of dimension to it, and also a little bit of warmth. The main woods that I get in this are cedar, and the cedar is blended very well with the patchouli, and so when it fully dries down, you're left with a little bit of spearmint, a little bit of lavender, nice clean woods, and a touch of spice. So my overall thoughts of London Spice, it's a really good fragrance. Is it mind-blowing? No. Has it been done before? Yes. But London Spice actually has a lot of different aspects from quite a few different fougères all rolled into one bottle. London Spice, though, I don't know if it's suitably named, because it's not a very spicy fragrance, but London Spice is one of those versatile fragrances to where I think you could wear it like casually. I'm saying like business casual, maybe a polo, and then up to a suit and tie. This isn't really something I would wear formally, though you can wear whatever fragrance whenever the hell you want, but London Spice is one of those fragrances that just makes me feel good. It's got lavender in it, and a mega ton of lavender, but lavender soothes me. Lavender is relaxing. It calms me down. It de-stresses me. And this fragrance does that. But it's not just the lavender that does that. It's also the spearmint in it. The spearmint does the exact same thing. It has that nice calming effect. It's nice and soothing and cooling and invigorating. I freaking love the spearmint in this. And that's actually the reason that I bought this. Not because it's mind-blowing. Not because, it's so unique that, I've never smelled anything like this before. No, it's because of the use of natural smelling spearmint and lavender with that nice citrus up top, and the way that it dries down, it's nice and clean and woody with a touch of spice. I'm actually glad that this fragrance isn't overly spicy. I like that it's just the perfect balance of spice. In fact, London Spice, I probably would have called it London Lavender and Mint, because that's really what I get out of this fragrance. And I love it for that. You get moderate longevity. It gets you through your work day. Between 6 and 8 hours. I do spray on my clothes to get that extra oomph of longevity. The projection is moderate as well. In the first hour, it projects pretty heavily. You get a nice scent bubble and a nice sillage. And throughout the day, you're gonna get a nice sillage. You're gonna get a nice scent trail. But it's not super powerful. This does sit closer to the skin, but that's what I enjoy about it. This is a fragrance that is really meant for the user, in my opinion. The person who's wearing it is going to get the most enjoyment out of it. I would actually wear this on a date. Why? Because if you're going out to dinner and one thing leads to another, when she gets closer to you, she's going to smell this, and, well, the rest is history. I think London Spice is a great fragrance. Now, it is expensive, $385 for 100 ml. I got this from Max Aroma. I also got it for 20% off. I will also leave that 20% off code down below so that you can use it. I highly suggest getting a decanter sample of this. Now, you can get the discovery set of the entire new lineup from Fragrance du Bois. I believe you can get it at Lucky Scent. You can also get it at Max Aroma. I believe you can also get it from Kintessence out of New York City. I'll leave those all linked down below. I highly suggest checking out the entire new lineup. They are doing something special over there. Again, not mind-blowing, not the biggest projector, not a room filler, but a beautiful fragrance. It's calming, it's invigorating, it's masculine, and the type of man that I imagine wearing this fragrance is the one who knows that his clothes are going to get him noticed, but his fragrance will get him remembered. All right, there it is, guys. My review of the new one from Fragrance du Bois, London Spice. I think it's 100% worth a whiff and sniff. If you like fougères, barbershop style fragrances, then I think you definitely want to check this one out. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but definitely test drive. Test drive, test drive, test drive. I want you to find a fragrance that helps support your personality, that boosts your confidence, and that just simply makes you smell great. But that's it for me today, guys. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do me a favor and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And always remember, you are stinking beautiful. And until next time, happy Centro.